Hello guys, welcome back. Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, now with part 7, and this should be the final part of the build, and then the next we're looking at painting. So this is the beautiful, now available from Tiger Hobbies. This is the M109A7 Paladin. Today is Friday the 14th of March 2024, and the kit actually became available yesterday, the 13th of March 2025. I just said 2024, didn't I? So here we go. 2025 is the year, Nige. You keep getting the year wrong, but never mind. Loads of people in the comments will tell me. So anyway, here we are. She's all done. Basically, all the sub-assemblies are done. You can see we've got there's that beautiful gun assembly for the top of the turret there. We've got the headlights, we've got some mud guards there which we haven't fitted until we get the tracks on. We've got our gun here which is all made up, that's aluminium. I actually primed all this with Mr. Metal Primer from Mr. Hobby, so we'll see how resilient that is when it comes to the weathering stages. So we're going to put all this out of the way. The actual hull itself, as you can see, is looking great. I haven't done the wheels yet, but then very soon we'll be looking at actually fitting the tracks. I've already made a video about the tracks and we talked about all the different options. The kit tracks are lovely, however the design and the way they go together makes them very difficult to assemble without getting glue on them, and you end up with sticky patches. And because the Paladin has got a fairly sort of saggy upper track, I wanted to make sure it was all looking really good, and I wanted something with a bit more weight in it. The kit tracks aren't very heavy. If there's one part of this kit that lets it down, and I'm sure John would agree, John Alec, you'll see a link down in the comments in the description below the video. Go and look at his channel, look at his build. He's also built one of these, and have a look at his videos and give him a sub as well, because he deserves it. He's a great guy and a great modeler. But yeah, he actually bought me this kit and sent it over from America before I could get it over here, so that's why it's built basically before you can buy it over here. And here we go, you can see it there. There's some patches that I've missed with the primer, so I'll have to go back in with the primer. If you remember, I made these so they actually fold and they stay like that. So that's all cool, which makes it much easier for all the painting, as you can see. And even then I still miss bits. So there we are. But there we go. Very, very pleased with how this has gone together. It is super, super detailed. I've got the turret on this stand purely because every time I touch it, I break something off. You've got these tiny little latches like you can see on the bottom here. Tiny little latch there. You've got these little lifting eyes here, which are so easy to snap off. I've actually snapped that one off a couple of times, and at the end I've metal pinned it. So there we go. But yeah, there's little tiny catches and bits of photo etch and straps and oh, there's tons of it. So yeah, lots and lots of detail on there. In fact, Paul Hatchie actually commented, I can't believe how you just keep sticking bits to that turret. We got all the sub-assemblies here. So there's the beautiful gun lock. You can see again, I've not got all the angles in on the primer. But there's the beautiful gun lock that's going to go on the front. And then we've got and then we've got other shields and stuff going on. There's the metal shield on the front. Apparently this is for friend or foe, stuff. We've got that big glazed unit going on the front. So all in all, looking really, really good. And all we've got left to do now is get the idlers done, which are in here. As you can see them. But I don't want to do the idlers until I've done the tracks. What I am going to do with these is, got these little shock absorber things here, or tensioners. They've got a peg on them. They've got a key on them. And you can see there's a little tiny peg on there. And that is actually to lock them in position. Well, I'm going to cut that off. And then what I'll do is drill them, put a metal rod in, then I can actually move them and we'll have one glued in position and move the other one to suit for that track. So that's what we're going to do there. So this is what I've been waiting for. These are the 3D printed workable track links from RFM. Part number is 3028. Gary got these in from RFM. He is the importer for the UK. And he actually bought 4 sets. 2 were taken by a retailer. So there's obviously a retailer out there that's got 2 in stock unless he sold them. I got 1 and he has 1 left. So if you have a look at the website, you may find there's 1 left, but I very much doubt it. They're about £35, I think. So there we go. So there's what we get inside the box. I did a quick sort of review of them There's no instructions as such. You've got basically what's on here. So what I'm going to do is get some off. We'll have a look. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just keep the camera running. So we've got this here, and what we can do, what I'm going to do is grab these little plastic pots. So hopefully the loose parts will come out and go into that pot, or not, as the case may be. So you've got parts all over the bench. Let me get myself sorted, and then I'll come back when we're ready to start building. Right, so we've got our bits and pieces here. So there's 3 different components, well, 4 different components, including the metal parts that make up the tracks. We've also got this jig to build them on. So what we should be able to do here is come in with a pair of cutters and just remove these supports. So they've gone way over the top with these supports, haven't they? There's lots of them. You just break that off of there. Quite often with 3D printed parts you can just literally break them off. Worth remembering. So on the back of there are a couple of little pips, so I'm just going to remove them. So there we are. So that'll now sit nice and flat on the bench. So as I say, there are no instructions, but you just look at the box art you can see on there. So what's going to happen? We've got the track horns. Now, obviously these have broken off in transit. I think this has had quite a battering in transit, because this sheet here is broken in half. There's the other half there. This sheet here has got like a big dent in it. See, there's like it's delaminated. It's a bit weird. And also there's so many broken off of there, so I think it's had a bit of a hard time. It came beautifully packaged from Tiger Hobbies. I think it's probably happened on the ship. So but basically these are actually printed that way up. So that's the outside of the track. So the actual connection points are here, here and here. So what I'm doing is just knocking them with a pair of tweezers, and that should be enough just to knock them off. Now they've done this, in my opinion, the wrong way up. They should have done it the other way, so you could actually insert these in like you do on the kit, and like you do with the other ones I've got. I can't remember the make of them now. I've got them over here still. What's the make of them? ET model, that's the ones. So yeah, unfortunate. I'm wondering if we can actually use the kit jig to build these. Let's have a quick look. Well guys, I can tell you why there's no instructions. Because they haven't worked out themselves how to put them together. It says easy to assemble. Okay, so you've got 2 brass pins. I don't quite know what the use of the jig is, because it's absolutely useless. The jig I was thinking of was this one. This is the one from the Magic Factory M10 Booker, where they go in the other way up, and they go together a lot easier than these. Now, first of all, the biggest problem is these don't actually press on. These end pieces, they're going to have to be glued on. Okay, so that's going to be really fun. But what you will be able to do is you'll be able to dip 2 pins in some glue, glue them in, and just make a few up like that. And I think then the only way to assemble them is actually in your hand, because if you try and build them in the jig, as soon as you go to out of these pins, it all just falls off. There's no, like with the M10 one, you'll see the video. I've done a video of building them. You sort of put them in, you put a top on, hold them together, and then you can push everything in. But this is just, there's been no thought whatsoever put into this. So once you've got those glued in, what you will then do is slide your pads on, or track links, if you like, whatever you want to call them. So slide them on, so one on each side. As you can see, this is going to take forever. And then the horn's going to go on, like so. And then another pad on there, and another pad on there. And then this end is going to go on. You can see that on these, they've got one side has got a larger holes than the other. And that's the way they're going on. So they go onto the large side. Now I've tried tapping them together to see if they'll bite, in case there's like a taper in the hole, but there's not. They're going to have to be glued, unfortunately. As you can see, it's really fun putting it together. knot. The jig is absolutely useless, in other words. Yeah, I'm not sure I'd recommend these, to be honest. Maybe it's lucky that Gary has only got one in stock. But they're going to be beautiful once they're made. It's just getting them made. It's going to be the problem. As you can see, this is taking forever to build one pair of links. Oh dear, dear, dear. I've done this off camera and it went a lot easier, to be honest. So this is playing up just because the camera's on. Will you please just bloody well go on? Jeez. This is ridiculous. Where'd it go? There it is. Right, so bolt up. Remember, these are not going to go on any old how. They've got to be the right way round and the right way up. Oh, this is a joke. This is an absolute bloody joke. This is going to really slow the build down. But I'm determined to use them because I've got them now. But yeah, there's been no... I can't believe they had the audacity to put easy to assemble on the box. Yeah, easy to assemble if you're a 10mm tall robot. I cannot believe that. There we go. It's finally gone on. Okay, so you push that together like that. Now you can see there's clearance there. It looks like there's room for them to press together, but they don't. They don't actually clip together. It kind of looks like they should. We're going to try and... Doesn't matter if I scrap a couple. If I push it like that. Yeah, there is no way they are going together. I'll bend the pins before I do anything. But you can see it's all just falling apart. So I think the first thing to do is get... It's a shame really they didn't print these with the larger holes up, because then we could have gone in and glued the pins in like that. But what I need to do is start off by getting these glued in pairs. So one in there, one in there, and then that'll make it a little bit easier because at least one half will stay together. And I think what we'll do then is put them together, and then on the, because you have a small hole on the outside, I think a little dab of thin CA will be enough to hold them together. But what I don't like about them is when I look at them here, it's almost as though these they're too deep. They're not deep enough. I mean, I'm just wondering actually. Give me a second. I'm going to measure the diameter of these pins. I'm going to grab a micrometer. Measure the diameter of the pins, and if I open that hole on the end so that it's just slightly, yeah, so they're 0.5. So if I grab, where have my drills gone? I've lost my drills. I grab a 0.45 drill. In fact, these things in here I think are 0.45. That's 0.4. I'm just wondering if I can drill these out. These horrible drills, they're horrible, horrible things. Just wondering if I can drill these out. Blimey, this stuff's tough. Oh dear, dear, it's hard as nails. Wow. I'm just wondering now if that hole drilled out is enough. Oh no, I don't know which bloody hole I drilled out. Oh, I can see it. Just wondering if that is enough to allow the pin to bite. What a bloody farce, isn't it, eh, guys? Just to put some bloody tracks together. Somebody said rubber bands are better. I kind of agree in this state, although I hate the look of them. I don't know. Well, I'll see what where we go with this. Back in a sec. Okay, I tried drilling them out, and the trouble is if you drill them, it makes the pins too short. So you have to drill them sort of halfway. So that means picking up every one of these. So you're going to get one of these off of here. Hold it in your fingers. You're going to get rid of the little gatey things, as it were, whatever. They just pretty much fall off. And then you're just going to come in with your 0.5 drill and just a couple of turns in each hole. And now I don't know which hole I did. But yeah. Am I a fan of these track links? No. Because there are issues. The trouble is here, as I say, these pins need to be glued in, and then when you put it all together they're too long. The tracks are all really floppy. It's going to look horrible because there's going to be big gaps. So yeah, let me spend a couple of days playing with this and then I'll come back. Right, this is about an hour later now. I've worked something out. I've got a little motor tool here I got from Amazon. Please don't ask for a link because I don't know, and there's lots of, if you look at the shape of that, there's loads of all sorts of different colours. They're all the same basically. So what I've worked out, I've got a 0.4 drill in here. If you remember, I said earlier that you can actually glue these from the outside. You can. I thought they were through holes, but they're not. They're blind holes. So what I'm going to do is make them 3 through holes. So with this little drill, once I get myself set up, once I get the feel for it, you'll see how fast we can do this. Just pick up on the centres. I need to get a feel for where these centres are, and then it'll just go. There we go. You can just come along. Oh, that one's broken off. Stuck to the drill, never mind. Just drill them out. Obviously you don't need to do all of them if you don't want to. But basically this will allow you to glue them from the outside. But the other thing this does, it enables you to just take that one there. It's a shame that they aren't moulded the other way around, or printed the other way around, should I say. I'm going to go into that hole there and just literally one little turn is enough. What it is, the holes aren't quite deep enough, but the material's too hard to allow the pin to press in. So that's what I'm going to have to do on these. So at least if you just do half of them, so if you just get some virgin parts and glue the pins in, then the pins will be sticking out too far, and then when you come to push the pin on the outside, you just push it on and then put a dab of glue on from the other side, and that'll be absolutely fine. Because you can't go too far because the link won't let you, if you know what I mean. So that's what I'm going to do anyway. I know it's laborious, I know you shouldn't have to do it, and no, I wouldn't recommend anyone buying these. They're not worth the hassle. They really are not worth the hassle. Life's too short for rubbish like this. We can get in there and just drill them out, just like so. And as I say, once you get a feel for it, you will just bang through them, no problem. As you can see there. Okay, so I'm going to go away now and glue some of these pins on. In fact, I'll draw the rest of that row and then I know I've got a whole row done. And then go from there. Right, see you in a month. Right, so things have changed, vastly changed. So if you go back in my channel and you look, you will see that a while ago I did a video talking about the tracks for the M109A7. And one of the suggestions was to get one of these kits here and use the tracks from this, and then use the kit tracks on this one because you don't need to do the full length. The only problem with that, it would appear that either Rayfield Model have got their tracks slightly too small, or Magic Factory have got their tracks slightly too big. This is no knocking of either company. This happens all the time. You will find you can get full tracks for a Dragon King Tiger and they won't fit the Tamiya kit, and they won't fit the Takum, but they will fit the Rayfield Model. Stuff like that. So these tracks will fit, but they do look a little bit cumbersome. They're a little bit more chunky than the actual tracks that come in the kit. So I decided not to use those, and I decided to keep them for my M10 Booker. Now the next solution we looked at were these. I did a review of these and we put them together, and they're lovely. They're very nice indeed, and you need to glue the ends on, which is a shame. I wish they just pressed on, but they are lovely, and the beauty of these is they have the separate pads, so you can paint them separately or just leave them in the colour that they're in. And you can see you get this little jig to build them up in, which is nice because it's upside down, which is one of the problems with the Rayfield Model tracks. The actual horns face upwards. So that was my second option. Then the third option was what I was looking at a couple of days ago for me, but just now for you in this video, with these Rayfield Model tracks 3028. These by far, out of all of them, are the worst. I really don't understand how on earth they think we're going to put this together. And I've also just noticed something else. The jig they give you is not the jig they're showing on the front here. You can see on this box there is a nest that will support that the horn. And if that was how they were made, it may be a lot better, but there is no nest. I will open them up and show you. There is no nest in there whatsoever. There's the jig. Well, yeah, okay. It's nothing like they're showing you there. That's not going to support it. That would actually support it, but that's, you can see it's hardly anything there that's going to support it. The other problem with these is the pins. Well, you look at this two ways. Either the holes in these little end pieces aren't quite deep enough, these little end pieces here, okay, or the pins are too long, because when you put them together you can't get the end pieces, these pieces here, you can't get those to go up and completely close against the track links, so you get this sort of sloppy looking track. So you need to come along and either shorten the pins, which would be great fun, or you need to deepen the holes. The other problem is the holes are about 0.6, maybe 0.65 mil. These pins are 0.5, so it's impossible. I said first of all about gluing two pins in. It's now impossible to get the end straight because it's all like a prick in a top hat. It's all really sloppy. So I think by far of all the track solutions we've got, these are the worst, and I wish I hadn't wasted money on them, to be honest. Rayfield Model haven't come up with a set of instructions in here, and I know why, because they probably can't work out how to put them together either. But yeah, the jig is useless. You'd need to assemble each one hand by hand. You know, forget it, guys. It's going to be an absolute nightmare. And you can't use the jig in, well, if you've got these, why would you buy those? The other problem with these is they're for Magic Factory. So again, they're a little bit oversized. So believe it or not, I went on and I built the kit tracks. And here are the kit tracks fitted and working. And I've got working suspension as well. I did this side and I needed 89 links. This side's only got 88, don't ask me why. So here we are with part 7 of the build, and I've gone backwards. So I did a video, if you want to know how to put these together, I did a video all about assembling these tracks. They are quite tricky, but once you get in the habit, they're easy to do. Just stick a film on, put some music on or something, and just you know, dedicate a day to building up these tracks. There's eight, as I say, should be 89 links per side. I've got 88 and 89 on mine. So there we go. The other thing I never ever do, I never ever glue the idlers on. As per the instructions, they tell you to glue the idlers on. That way you cannot actually set your track tension. Now with the M109, we've got this whole length on the top here going back, and there's no return rollers, whatever you want to call them. I know some people get funny when I call them return rollers. So they just sag, but they don't sag like a King Tiger sort of thing. You know, they don't sag down and touch the top of the tracks. They have to have a little bit of tension in them, so they just have a bow in them. So what I've done to enable me to do that, if you look inside here, you will see there is a brass rod which is glued to a piece of plastic card, and I don't know if you can see it there, but the ends, that rod is actually shaped like that. Okay, I've had to bend it down because you can see on the back here where the idler fits. In fact, if I take this track off and make life a lot easier, I can show you what I've done. Okay, so we'll take that track off. So you can see here what I've got is this idler pivot here doesn't want to come out. I don't know why. It's really tight on there. Come on. There we go, we got it. I hope I didn't just break something then. I thought I heard something hit the floor. Anyway, yeah, so basically that's the idler, and there's a little alignment notch in there, and I've cut the notch off, and we've got that brass rod that I can push it onto, just like so. Okay, make sure it goes into the hole, and then I can adjust the track tension how I want it, and then once I've got it right, drop a cement in there, job done. The brass rod is supporting it. The other thing is there's only a tiny little location on there. I would suggest putting a rod or something in there to support it because it's got hardly any contact. So now we can fit that idler onto there and just adjust our tension, as you can see. So it's just a case of bringing that forward, getting the track, making sure it's the right way round, because we have one side is pretty and one side isn't. That's the pretty side. Okay, it doesn't really matter, but one side has beautifully defined pins on the end, and the other side has a sprue gate to sand off. So one side is a bit prettier than the other. Okay, so we'll make sure the sprocket's engaged like that. Okay, come on, sprocket, engage. Here we go. Look, we can see the cameras on. Oh, come on. There we go. Right. Alright, so that's going to go down like that, and then we can, you watch me struggle with this now because the camera's on. We can drop that idler into there, just like that. And then we can push the idler onto its shaft, just like that. Make sure the track is in the grooves, and then we can pull the idler back, and then adjust the tension. So we just get a slight amount of sag on the top. Okay, we don't want it to be touching. But as I say, I can leave that right to the end and put a drop of glue on there at the end and see where we go. But there we go. So that's that. So what I've got to do now is go away and paint these tracks and everything, and then go from there. I haven't even decided if I'm going to do this in the brown or the green scheme. We have the options here in the box. Where is it? It's in the instructions, isn't it? We have the option of doing it in the green or the tan. I think I'll probably go for the tan because I think it's going to look a lot nicer, and also it'll be nicer to weather, won't it? And we can also add some, you know, the green boxes on the top and everything, and these colour bits here. I want to do some research and see if these lenses here are supposed to be coloured, because if they are, when you actually get the Magic Factory kits, you can see on the M10 here, these Magic Factory kits are lovely, guys. When you look on the M10, you can see you've got these various lenses with different colours in them and stuff. They actually give you clear foil or tinted foil to put those colours in, so we should have some excess on there that we can use if we need to on this one. So there we go. in case you've forgotten how it looks, there's the beautiful, beautiful turret. Absolutely stunning. Really, really nice. So yeah, looking forward to getting this one. So that's basically the build is finished. It's now on to painting, and the next thing I do is paint these tracks. You can see they are workable. It does roll on its tracks. So yeah, I will see you back for part 8. This is part 7. I've also got to fit these little tensioners onto those idlers. Haven't fitted those yet, but they'll be able to be fitted, and then we can adjust, because they got like a slot on the end of these things. There's like a spade on the end of there, and that goes into a groove, and you can move the idler around in it. So there we are. So there we go, guys. She's finally done, and I ended up using the kit tracks. So thank you for watching, and I will see you all for part 8. I'll get all the priming done, so we're ready to start putting down some colour, and we'll go from there for part 8. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.